feature. 4 cylinders, finishing in the first spot out of Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Driver number 37 car was Jerry Oliver Jr. In the second spot, driver number 99C car. This driver's out of Granite Falls, North Carolina. It was David Coffey. In the third spot, driver number 22 car out of Clover, South Carolina. It was Aaron Summit. And in the fourth spot, driver number 89W out of Shelby, North Carolina, was Randy Weaver. In the fifth spot, driver number 59 car out of Fort Mill, South Carolina, was Mike Miller. Taking down the sixth spot, number 44 car. She is out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, driver Ashley McHenry. In the seventh spot, driver number 96T. He's out of Rock Hill, South Carolina as well. It was Tony Pennell. Tony Pennell. In the eighth spot, driver number 39 car out of Rock Hill, South Carolina as well, was John Bryant. And in the ninth spot, driver number 53 car out of Concord, North Carolina, was Everett Dunlap. All right, moving on down here now. Let's see. Looks like the Hornets on tap next here for their feature event. This driver here is out of Blacksburg, South Carolina. Driver number 3C car taking out a win was Scott Cloninger. In the second spot, number 19 car, they call him Shorty Lacey. Michael Lacey out of out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. And in the third spot, driver number 72 car out of Gastonia, North Carolina, was Josh Blanton. In the fourth spot, driver number 35 car out of Charlotte, North Carolina, was Josh Gibson. In the fifth spot, driver number 05 car, he's out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, was Brian Robb. Also runs at the Lancaster Super Speedway. In the sixth spot, driver to 22C was Ken Robb. And in the seventh spot, out of Drexel, North Carolina, driver the 112, the 112 car was Marshall Frank. And that'll do it for your finishing results, feature events over there at the Carolina Speedway from this past Friday night. Remember, Carolina Speedway runs every Friday night. Concord, North Carolina, right, actually in the downtown area, not too far from Lake Wiley. So it's a great place to be on a Friday night. If you're into dirt track racing, you have nowhere to go, nothing to do. We've got something for you to do and someplace to go. Visit the Carolina Speedway down there. Great food, great racing. Enjoy the atmosphere down there. And when you're done there, come right back on Saturday night. If you like dirt track racing, you like the high, wide, handsome, but you like the real fast racing, come on down to the Lancaster Super Speedway. That's right. We've got some of the best down there. We'll give you the race results and the highlights from this past Saturday night here. And some scheduled events here coming up also. And then we got some things from the World of Outlaws here. We're going to bring you some of the feature events here from the Lucas series as well. So stay tuned. We got a whole lot of show and a whole lot of race results to talk about and some up and coming schedules here. Okay, let's see here. The limited late models ran this past Saturday night at the Super Speedway. And I'm going to tell you, we had a great host of race cars down there this past Saturday night. But taking down the victory, this gentleman here, there was no looking back. When the green flag came down, it was hammered down, and all she wrote for the driver out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, taking down the win, driver number 16M, it was Ben Watkins. Ben dominated. That's about the only thing I can say and the way I can put it. He dominated that racetrack Saturday night, no looking back. The race was hampered by a few caution flags, but on the restarts, Ben was definitely on his A game and brought that car into victory lane, took down the $1,000 win at the Super Speedway. Great job for Ben Watkins and all the boys from Rock Hill, South Carolina. In the second spot, driver number 84 car. This driver's out of Stanley, North Carolina. Jay Sussums took down the win, and great job he done. He gave it everything he possibly could to get up on the backside of Ben Watkins, but there was just no way. Ben just had it hammered down, like I say, and he had that line. He knew exactly where he had to be and what he had to do. So great job from Jay and Ben as well. In the third spot, driver number 48 car out of Lancaster, South Carolina, hometown favorite, track favorite as well, Timbo Mangum. In the fourth spot, this driver's out of Monroe, North Carolina. No stranger as well to Victory Lane. No strangers to the Super Speedway. Been running there a lot of years. Good to see him back up there. Driver number 03 car was David Yandel. In the fifth spot, out of Lake Wiley, South Carolina, driver number 32 car was Jonathan Edwards. In the sixth spot, out of Clover, South Carolina. Now, we have to make a correction. Actually, I make a correction here. At first, we thought it was the big man himself. We thought it was Big John Pursley driving that car, but it turned out it wasn't. It was Johnny Pursley driving a 47 car. And we want to make sure that everybody was aware of that. So in the sixth spot, driver 47 car from Clover, South Carolina, Johnny Pursley. In the seventh spot, driver number 11 car out of Kannapolis, North Carolina, was Todd Urey. In the eighth spot, driver number 95 car from Cleveland, North Carolina, was Jake Gibbons. In the ninth spot, driver in the G2 car out of Blythewood, South Carolina, was Kevin Godwin. In the 10th spot, driver of the 9R out of Stanfield, North Carolina, was Donnie Rhodes. In the 11th spot, driver of the number 9 car from Mount Pleasant, North Carolina, was Billy Lambert. Now, Billy was running a good race. Billy was actually up there in the front toward the beginning of the feature race, and not really sure what happened. Kind of dropped off the pace a little bit, shuffling back and forth with some of these cars here. But Billy did end up, like I say, finishing the race here in the 11th spot here. So great job to Billy and great effort on his behalf. And unfortunately, this last driver here, he may be last on the roll call, but he's definitely in top runner and always in first wherever he races. But had a little bit of an incident coming out of turn number 4 there, hit the wall with the right front car of the car. Suffered some heavy suspension damage to that right front of the car, was not able to return. Driver of the number 4 car for Mike Huey out of Chester, South Carolina. Tough break for Mike and all them boys, and I know they'll be right back as the limited late models will be back in another week or so at the Super Speedway. And Mike will probably bear this Saturday night in the vintage U.S. Bonding vintage cars there with the Two Creek sponsored number 5 Mustang there that he does run. All right, let's see here. Moving on down to the Deal One Auto Lightning Sportsman here. This was a great race, folks. If you missed this one here and weren't able to get to the Super Speedway, anytime you miss a race at the Super Speedway, you have missed the best of the best. But here's how you can make up for it. What you need to do is Gator Video, Jackie Sims, for $10. I mean, $10. You can get right back into the seat. You can get right back into the hot seat. You can put yourself right there at the Super Speedway, put it on the big screen TV, turn the lights down, crank it up a little bit, and you'll be right there with all the action. That's Gator Video, Jackie Sims, $10. Will get you all the videos that you need from the week before, the month before, possibly the year before that, and even further back. So there's no reason, no excuse that you should ever be without the comforts of your own DVD from the races at the Super Speedway. Contact them on the social media at Facebook, Jackie Sims, or just going down to the Speedway. He sits right there in the center of the infield. Can't miss him, right outside the B&M Concession Grill. Just look for the high tower out there in the middle of the infield. Jackie's up there. 360-degree revolution. We call him the Birdman. So take a look. You'll find him. If you want to get the videos, it's only $10, folks. Okay, now getting back to the Deal One Auto Lightning Sportsman finishing results here for the top 13. In the first spot, this driver out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, brought it home once again. 3 victories now for the cheeseburger man, Mr. Brian Mullis. And in the second spot, driver number 30 car from Lancaster, South Carolina, it was Kevin Blackwell. In the third spot, driver of the 25W, good to see him back here out of York, South Carolina, was away for a little bit. Driver Josh Wilkerson managed to bring it home in the third spot. Great job by him and all the crew. In the fourth spot, this gentleman here is a hard charger. Every week in the last 4 weeks, he has been hammered down, trying to put this thing in a victory lane, and it's only a matter of time, race fans. I'm talking any weekend now, this gentleman will find himself in a victory lane. Driver number 17 car, the Waffle House sponsored machine out of Lancaster for Jacob Cato. In the fifth spot, this gentleman right here, every time he races, you guarantee you're going to see nothing but some wild, high-flying, dirt-slinging, mud-flying action out of Heath Springs, South Carolina, driver number 35 car for Wild Bill Knight. In the sixth spot, now this gentleman right here, he has had his share of victories throughout the years and had his share of victories so far in 2015, but Saturday night was just a night to where some flat tire issues there. Got into a little bit of a skirmish up there between turn 1 and 2 with a little bumping and banging and just some good hard dirt track racing action at the Super Speedway. Driver of the 07, he's known as the Red Rocket. In the sixth spot, Jeffrey McGuirk from Lancaster, South Carolina. In the seventh spot, now this driver here has come a long way. He's a hard charger. Matter of fact, he's actually running second in the points right now. But this past Saturday night, in the seventh spot, driver of the 02 car from Indianland, South Carolina, was Mitchell Creech. In the eighth spot, driver of the 117, good to see him back here. He was gone for several weeks, but managed to get right back up here, and unfortunately got into a little bit of a couple of incidents up there with flat tires as well, and some beating and banging, but some good hard dirt track racing. Good to see him back up here. From Fort Mill was Justin Fight. In the ninth spot, this gentleman here used to run with the M&M Muffler and Tire Extreme 4s, bumped his way up now into the big cars here. Out of Fort Mill, South Carolina, from Blackjack Motorsports, driver number 91 car for David Moats. In the 16K, in the 10th spot, this driver here from Lancaster, South Carolina, folks, I'll tell you what, if he had to roll the dice and shuffle the cards week after week just to try to get himself a good spot, folks, it doesn't matter. This gentleman can get it done either way, any way he possibly can. But, you know, it's just the way that the luck ran again this past Saturday night with some more issues. Driver to 16K from Lancaster, South Carolina was Brady Kurt. In the 11th spot, driver of the number 11 car from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Kind of a newcomer here to the Speedway, Cade Langley. In the 12th spot, out of Waxhaw, North Carolina, driver to 30H car. They call him the Dirty 30, was Aaron Hemby. In the 13th spot, driver number 92 car. Now, this gentleman usually is a top 3, top 5 runner. Had some issues as well, some mechanical issues on the car this past Saturday night, but managed to at least finish the race to complete it. 92 car for Tyler Love out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Let's see here. Moving on down to the Faith Funderburk Realty Super Stocks. This was another great race right here, and boy, I'll tell you what, if you were there this Saturday night, you had seen one of the best feature events, door to door, bumper to bumper, side by side racing, and I'm talking clean, just hard charging racing in the Faith Funderburk Realty Super Stocks. Before I tell you who the winner was, the gentleman who finished in the second spot led every single lap. The number 55 car from Rock Hill, South Carolina, Joseph Engelbrett, led every single lap during that feature except for the last couple hundred feet coming out of turn number 4. And it was the gambler himself out of Lancaster, South Carolina, driver number 16 car, Brandy Baker, managed to drop it down, slingshot to the inside, and just beat out Joseph by about a fender. I'm talking, it was some of the best racing that we've seen in a long time at the Super Speedway with Joseph and Brandy, and it was just absolutely one of the cleanest races, hard charging races, and great job to both of those drivers. All right, finishing in the third spot, out of York, South Carolina, driver number 46 car was Andy Hodges. In the fourth spot, out of Lancaster, South Carolina, another competitor who's been progressively putting his car up in the top 5 week after week. In the beginning of the season, had a lot of ups and downs, rode the wall a few times, about put it out the ballpark twice, but come back with a brand new car several weeks ago. Good to see him out there, and a great job that he's doing from Lancaster, South Carolina. Driver of the 05 car was Artie Burnell. And in the fifth spot, out of Kershaw, South Carolina, the number 18 car for Matt Cawthon. Longtime sponsors and longtime competitors for many, many years at the Super Speedway. Glad to see Matt and everybody right back there again week after week. Let's see, in the 6th spot, out of Waxhaw, North Carolina, this driver here, again, like we say, sooner